Day 27, 7:24 a.m. It's a bright and sunny day here in Camp BB for this week's shopping task, and our campmates are all out and about and enjoying the morning sun bright and early. Now, it is slowly approaching summer here in Windenburg, and the heat is starting to rise. So, I have placed a lot of little fun games for our housemates to enjoy the sun and cool off. We see that Tice, Kaylee, Haven, Emma, and Lillian are enjoying a nice game of water balloons. While Jesse and Emmanuel hang out by the fire, it looks as though Sophia is practicing her T-pose challenge, while Kristen talks her ear off. And while Gavin plays a game of Scribble, all of them are unaware that the first task of the day is already happening. Over on the table is a bottle of bubbles. Now, alongside all of these new toys, Big Brother has placed these bubbles. And there's a lot of distraction and a lot of options. But if one campmate decides to play with the bubbles, they will pass this task and earn access to the bathroom. Now, I've been keeping a close eye on both Sophia and Haven, as both of them have been pretty upset recently. But I'm more worried about Lillian. Our only vampire in the house is enjoying a lot of sun exposure, and I decide to go ahead and call her into the diary room. Hello, Lillian. Please go ahead and take a seat. This is Big Brother. Now, we are aware that you are a vampire, and being outside, especially now that we are approaching summertime for long hours, could be deadly. So, we have opened the task room for you, where you will find a coffin that you can hibernate in now. All of the doors are unlocked. And I gotta say, ever since her and Pete had that punishment, her costumes, no matter how I assigned them, have not been the same. "11:56 a.m. As it approaches midday, the sunny weather is heating up more and more to a record degree. It is hot out there, and these camp uniforms aren't necessarily hot weather friendly. And not to mention, the environment is getting worse and worse as the leaves are now starting to stink. So Big Brother decides to ask Kaylee if she wants to invite someone into her nice luxurious camper's lodge. So we go ahead and look at Kaylee's relationships, and this time, instead of looking to see who she dislikes the most, we're going to see who she likes the most. And that is going to be who she chooses to join her in the lodge. And it's a pretty clear decision that Emmanuel is the one she wants to join her. And I feel like surely it is toasty in here with that fire on as well. But first thing first, before Emmanuel even says anything to Kaylee, is he pours them a couple of drinks. And then proceeds to put them on the floor. Very typical. Not only that, but he immediately turns around and walks back into the camp, where he decides to sit down at the gaming table. And then immediately stand back up and go back into the lodge and talk to Kaylee like he originally planned. You gotta love the Sims. They are just So smart, little Einsteins we have in our hands right now. But when he does return to the lodge, he enjoys the rocking chair and begins exchanging meaningful stories with Kaylee as they bond more and more with this solo time together, while the drinks still sit on the floor. And while Emma seems to be energized and so happy to be outside, it's not the same for everyone else, as Sophia continues on a downward spiral and hates everything. And just as a new game of Scribble begins and Tyson finally starts to approach the bubbles, a fire breaks out. And it's actually kind of crazy because the rock caught fire. Not the wood, the big tree stumps that are near the fire. No, the rock. Like, is that even possible? I don't even know. And at first they put out the rock really fast. And I thought things were over, like nothing else is catching on fire. But clearly the fire is still going on. We even see Lillian wakes up from her hibernation to come check it out. And by the time she gets back to the camp, the little horseshoe rack that no one's even played on yet is now catching on fire as well. And Lillian seems to be the only one not just glitching out and standing there like an idiot. She actually runs for her life. Meanwhile, everyone else just looks at the fire getting bigger and bigger. Eventually, they do decide to act like a sim and, of course, run through the fire in order to escape it. Thankfully, no one actually catches a flame, but more and more objects begin to, and Sophia actually looks happy for the first time as she watches the camp burn around her. Eventually, Sims do begin to make their way out onto the street. We see that I almost called her Nancy Landgrab. Oh, Mrs. Crumplebottom is not too happy. And just as Lillian is freaking out, she gets ran over by a car. Yeah. All these Sims are running down the red carpet like they just got evicted, and are now standing in the middle of a pretty busy street, surprisingly. So I think we're going to see a lot of car accidents coming. A lot of our Sims are about to get run over, but thankfully it doesn't affect them. I do wish there was a mod where it did. I think that would be kind of fun. Unfortunately, though, even though they are outside of the house, they still haven't managed to call the fire department or put out the fire. Now, things are unfortunately hitting a new low for Lillian. The longer and longer all of them freak out about this fire because she can't do anything. Okay, everyone is glitched out. She's stuck outside. She didn't finish her hibernation. And now she has no choice but to turn into her dark form and uncontrollably drink someone's blood. And her sights are on Kristen. But unfortunately, even Kristen's blood cannot save Lillian from the heat of the sun. And just after she finishes drinking some of it, she immediately burns to death and falls to the ground right beside Kristen. And almost all of our housemates are too distracted by the fire and everything that's going on to even notice Kristen get her head ran over. Or Lillian dying. And the fire just continues to burn and grow and just destroy the house at this point. However, the Grim Reaper does arrive before the cops or the fire department or anyone else arrives. Go figure. And he does take Lillian's body. And we are left with a pretty cool urn. But unfortunately, just like Addison, I will not be bringing Lillian back. And I think all of this kind of terrified our housemates to the point where Tice pees himself. But he's not even alone, as more and more housemates do pee themselves as well. And I love that Kristen wakes up and seeing her reaction of Lillian being dead after she just sucked her blood is kind of crazy. And again, Camp BB is destroyed. We have that huge bear statue, now just a tiny little pile of ash, while a big pile of piss sits under Sophia. And of course, this whole time I am like, why isn't Hot Dogs out here? Why aren't I freaking out? For some reason, I'm glitching out in the kitchen, staring at the sink. But while we're in here, I guess we can go ahead and turn Lillian's photo to black and white. What do you guys think about Lillian's death? What do you think about her not being part of the show anymore? Let me know your thoughts down below. Four 48 p.m. Alright, after a couple of hours, the fire burns out on its own, once it's not able to burn any other objects in Camp BB. And once everyone stops freaking out, I was able to reset them all, have all the glitches go away, but I'm just kind of bummed I couldn't do that for Lillian. I couldn't save her. Because of the fire, I wasn't able to reset anything, I wasn't able to do anything, and I am bummed about her departure, but now that everyone is calmed down a little bit, we're going to go ahead and call them into the living room. Alright, some of you are taking longer than others, but I'm just going to go ahead and start talking. So this is Big Brother. Unfortunately, due to Lillian's passing and the rising degree in temperature outside here in Windenburg, Camp BB is closed and this week's shopping task has been canceled. All of you will have access to the storage room for the remainder of the week, and no one will be asked to take part in the task anymore. That being said, next week is a whole new ball game, a whole new task, and you will not have access to the storage room. But enjoy it while you can, and enjoy your time here while you can as well, because the eviction is still taking place. And on Friday, either Jesse, Tyson, or Sophia is going home. And of course, that's all still up to you. Now, I am going to go ahead and apologize for my late video postings. I've been taking extra shifts at work. I've been working 10-hour days. It's been a bit exhausting, and I've been running low on time to edit and film and everything like that. So bear with me, we are getting through this, and the vote will still close 3 hours after this video is up. So get your votes in now in the comments, go over to the community poll, you have 15 points to spend in the comments, and you can even go over on Twitter and vote. So there's tons of ways, go ahead and do it, as someone will be going home. See you later.